Hello, this is Thomas J. Linneman, author of Social Statistics, Managing Data, Conducting Analyses, Presenting Results. This is the SPSS demonstration for Chapter 5 on selecting cases. Selecting cases is a really important thing to know how to do because often you may not want to look at all of your cases at the same time. You may only want to look at one particular group. To select cases, you go up to Data, and it's way down at the bottom there, Select Cases. This brings up a box that has lots of options. The most common one that you're probably going to use is if condition is satisfied. So let's click on that little button there. And when I click on it, notice that, so look at this if button right below it. It doesn't do anything now if I click on it. However, if I click on the little button next to if condition is satisfied, that button now becomes active and I can go into that little room within a room. And here is where you give SPSS the condition or the set of conditions that you would like to select cases on. So, for example, age, if we wanted everyone younger than 25 years of age, you would put age over here and then do less than 25. If you wanted to select only the women in the data set, then that would be the gender variable, where gender, XY gender is equal to 1, because that is how women are coded. If you wanted to look only at the respondents who are married, can look at the marital variable. And let's look at how that variable is coded by right-clicking on it and going down to variable information. You see that there are actually two categories for married. Married where the spouse is present and married where the spouse is absent. We don't know exactly what that means, but we don't want to pry too much, do we? So let's say we wanted to select all the married people, so those people in category 1, and we also want those people in category 2. Well, what we might think we want to do for doing that is, since I want these people and these people, you might think, and they're coded 1 and 2, you might think that this would be correct, where marital is equal to 1, but we also want this other group where marital is equal to 2. But that would be incorrect because basically what we're telling SPSS to do is find everybody who is coded as a 1 and who is also coded as a 2, which would be nobody because everybody is either coded as a 1 or a 2. Rather than doing it this way, let's do marital is less than 3. Because that will accomplish what we want. So we do that, and we click continue, and now it has put our condition here, select if the condition is satisfied, the condition being marital is less than 3, and we want to filter out the unselected cases. We never, ever, ever want to click this button here. I'm going to go over it, but I'm not going to click it because you never, ever want to click that. You don't want to delete cases. You always want to keep your case. You want to filter them out temporarily. You don't want to delete them. And click OK. And it does its thing. And now if we go back to the data set, we see that some of the cases are crossed out and some of them aren't. Let me find the marital variable. Marital. Okay, there's the marital variable, and I'm going to click this Go To button. And now it takes me over to the marital variable. Let me move that over there. Okay, so the only cases that are not crossed off are those that are married or married spouse present, which would be case 1, case 4. Case 6 also is included because it is coded as 2, married spouse absent. All the other ones, widowed, separated, divorced, those are all crossed up because they did not satisfy the condition. Now, the way SPSS does this is a little strange. Based on the condition that we provide, SPSS creates a variable called filter. And once it does that, it gives each case, depending on whether it satisfies the condition or not, selected or not selected. And then, based on whoever's not selected, it crosses those cases off. It accomplishes what we want. So that is how to select cases. Let's go back into the select cases box. Let's say we wanted to get our cases back. Notice down here in the lower right, we see it says filter on, and we also have these little lines through some of the cases. You always want to try to remember whether you have selected cases or not. The situation you want to avoid is you select cases, you run an analysis, and then you forget that you've selected cases. And all the analyses you run until you go back in and unselect and get all your cases back, all of those analyses will involve only the selected cases. So that's something to try to remember. So I'm going to go back into data, select cases. I'm going to get all of my cases back, select all cases, and click OK. And notice two things are going to happen once I do this. These little lines are going to go away, and where it says filter on is going to go away. So I'm going to click OK. Takes me to the output window to tell me what it's doing. And now when I go back here, the lines are gone, and where it says filter doesn't say filter on anymore. Let's go back in, show you a couple more things. Data select cases. You could give it a set of, so let's say we only wanted to look at the married women. So here is where you would want to use the and, because you're using two different variables. So we want to find the people who say they are married and whose gender, XY gender, is equal to 1. How about those who are older than 50? Well, we could do that. That's yet another variable. So we would use and age is greater than 50. So that would, see, that's a long set. It doesn't even fit on there. I wonder if I grab that. No? Interesting. That doesn't show. I'm not going to run this one. So I'm going to reset. Another thing you might want to do is select a random sample of cases. So notice, remember in chapter 5 we did a bunch of sampling exercises. If you wanted to do some on your own, you could do them using a data set, pretending the entire data set is your population. You could draw a random sample of cases. And so let's say we wanted to select exactly 200 cases from the total number of cases we have, which is 4,270. That would be how you would do that. So lots of options here. Never select, delete unselected cases. And that is the end of this SPSS demonstration.